check this out. I am in Eastern Ontario with my buddy Glenn Green here. Some people watching this video probably have followed some of your epic tribute kits and have heard of you. And I'll be sure to put a link to your Instagram down below.
My new Instagram to come, yeah.
Hey, I haven't done any videos lately, and I'm inspired to do a video because due to some issues that I've been having, I just haven't been able to play and lost a lot of my mojo when it came to that stuff. But had a trip planned to the Toronto area, and I knew I'd be meeting up with Glenn here and decided to come out his way after the event and booked us an ice time with a lot of the youth team that his boys play with were there and their parents and stuff. And so I wanted to do something cool, and I decided to go pretty far back, vintage with my stuff. And Glenn here did a 90s kit, Andy Moog. So we figured we'd
Not
just...
exact, but...
No, yeah. It's an estimation of, because this was kind of like this isn't something we planned out like some of my other stuff for months, and he does that stuff too. So we did the best we could. Anyway, so we just wanted to show you we had a great time on the ice. I did decide to go fiberglass. I went with my Jeff Sand made Lefebvre Scoop replica mask. That is a solid mask, and it is a beautiful mask. And I had sanded it down and painted it white, and now all the scars on it, those are from me playing. Thankfully, last night I didn't eat any to the face.
Before we got on the ice, the kids were really giving him looks of, you could see them just staring over to the side and just glaring at what he was wearing. I think you might have scared a couple of kids, but
I was trying
they were
to.
Definitely interested in what he was wearing that today, because none of them would ever see any gear like that. So, and I think an interesting question that always popped up when we talked about this, because I know some of these kids, and they're 13, 14 year olds, and some of them can really rip it. And we've always discussed, whether the safety of this and the gear that you're wearing really applies, and we're being sensible here. And you always say that you want to feel the puck and you don't want anybody to hold back. And I mean, it's courageous to hear that, but I don't know if it's very smart at the same time. So two of my boys played, and when I was showing them some of the gear that Charles was going to be wearing, they were really hesitant, maybe I can't shoot high, and maybe I'll dial it down a little bit, but Charles doesn't want that. So.
Let me move on from my mask for a second and tell you, I did wear the two-piece, the SA95 and the BP30. And if I can hold this right, and maybe I'll do a little overlay video here. So when that's on, there's a big old gap right here. And I said, I usually feel one there every game. And I swear, we got all the way to 3 minutes left in this game. I was in an awkward body position, and the puck went over that way. It's still sore.
I thought you were going to sink back a little bit. I saw you feel that one. You felt that one. So.
It's a cool thing. It's not just a feeling of being hit. It's a sound. It's a taste you get in your mouth. There's a sensory thing that happens when they hurt like that.
Yeah.
And you're having fun, and you get hurt like that. So, moving on, I did do GM21 Trapper, no side trap, and then just because I don't know how much you looked at it before the game, so that one shot I said, it landed flat right there. So throw your hand in there and then punch yourself there.
Yeah.
It's a GM21. It's a
There's
I don't know, 2 mil of leather and a little bit of felt. There's no plastic there or anything for that part of the glove.
There's nothing like it. You can even the felt, it just feels like leather on leather, layered leather. It doesn't feel like there's any padding in there hardly at all. So if you're not catching it in the
catching the pocket's just a beautiful feeling in these gloves. The snap action just closes that glove, but catching it in the palm or the fingertips is not fun. It is.
Yeah,
that's why those guys got so good with their hands, man, when they were wearing this stuff. GM12 blocker and GP95 pads. That sums it up. I did go with a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey. When in Rome, right?
Yeah.
So Maple Leafs, I had the blue Cooper pants with a white stripe and some lumber, my Northland Pro. You didn't use a modern stick either.
No, I used a Christian stick. I was trying to recreate kind of what Moog had used, and these were issued maybe 6 to 8 years ago, I guess.
Yeah,
they did it kind of when Christian kind of started up things a little again. So it's this is just faux markings or to replicate the fiberglass weave that they used to have back in the day. But if anybody knows me, I really appreciate the 90s stuff. And I like to call it kind of a little bit as like vintage modern kind of gear. So, I mean, I love the era of the 90s. But at the same time, I never played then.
Yeah.
So I can't really appreciate like kind of how the pads evolved over the years. And when I started, I kind of didn't want to digress as far as technology. So I kind of just like to incorporate that with some of my
He
sets.
replicates the vintage look in modern custom gear to a T. Like detail level is far beyond
OCD.
anything.
You can call it OCD.
Oh, I don't want to call it that, but yeah.
But
So
that's part of what's fun about it. Kind of like I really appreciate the stitching and the little logos and just the small details and stuff like that. So,
but that being said, a year and a half ago, we got you to put on some actual vintage gear for a little bit.
yeah, that was the first.
Yeah.
That was the first time I used like actual like old vintage gear.
Yeah, and since then you've acquired.
It bit me a bit. And
the bug bite happened, and
Yeah.
you started buying some vintage gear and putting together vintage sets, and see, that's what happens. So I'll take this moment to say, if you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button below, because then you too can get addicted to this crazy niche that we live in with gear. But yeah, let's see what you got.
So like I was in the midst, and I kind of in the midst of trying to recreate Moog's 94-95 set he had in Dallas.
Yeah.
Which is kind of he had a Caltan kind of Vaughn VPG 2000 sets like pads, and I am kind of hoping to maybe do that someday. But in the meantime, it's a lot of process to kind of pull all the masks and stuff and all the gear together. So this is Pro Choice Don Malairbrush shell that I was lucky enough that it's supposed to be an actual Moog mold. Yeah. I actually commissioned all the vent holes and stuff to be cut because I was trying to make it as close to Moog's.
Yeah.
And when you get into that, you're trying to incorporate artwork with vent holes.
Definitely.
That was kind of
like the eyes have to line up right with these vents, and
if anything's off, so that's kind of it's
detail.
Sometimes that's a better way to go versus trying to find a shell and then kind of make the artwork skew into it to make it look like that. But so this was painted by Frank Cipra. Actually, on his mask, what was unique was he had a single bar here, but you could see the spot welds.
Oh yeah, because they filled it.
They filled it, yeah. So that was kind of unique to that cage at the time too. And then the gold foil on the sides where it says Dallas. So you can. I'm not sure if you can see that in the video. It's probably hard to see right now.
Too,
but it turned out great, and
luckily
enough, it fits.
Yeah,
it fits me pretty well. I'm not swimming in it or anything like that. So.
And honestly, too, just going back to like. Again, like we knew we were going to play, and it was like a week ago you started inviting people and stuff, and so we were kind of getting our ideas. But even like 2 hours before we go to the rink, you're like putting foam in your mask, like like just to make sure, and like oh shoot.
Sometimes, you brought me a set too, just in case, because I wasn't sure what I knew. I knew we were going to skate, but I don't have the abundance. I don't have the abundance of vintage stuff like you do, obviously. So I mean, I only have a couple sets, and I was trying to kind of make something work, and we had kind of two options that we were deciding on doing, and then we asked some friends what their opinions of whether it would work or not, and then we went with the black and white Vaughn. So I'll show off the pads and stuff that I use. So I use these VPG 3000s that I picked up off eBay.
They're in exceptionally good shape.
Yeah, they worked. They're really good. They're pretty new too. Like they're stiff pads, so. The boot's pretty stiff on them, and what I can't get over is, and we talked about it, is like between like modern pads and vintage pads, like you just must have had to be a like phenomenal skater, like, and that's probably not my weakest spot. Like I'm not a bad skater, but I'm also not like I'm always.
What was the issue you were talking about with the pad and the skate?
Well, traditionally when you go down like butterfly it and you're able to get up on one leg.
Oh yeah.
And find an edge on your skate, and you're able to just kind of pop up and push off. I was like blowing out and sliding in because
the side of the pad is holding your skate when you're at that angle, and that's because before we left the house, we practiced strapping to the skates, to the lower straps, and how tight do I wear them, and why were the pads made the way they were, and all that. And you were snugged, you were real tight with your lower. So in your modern pad, your pad can go like this easily off of your leg side to side with that bungee and stuff. So that's why you can do that, because you get that angle it, lifts the pad, your edge is there, and you can get up. And then these, you tightened them this time, and they weren't moving, so
Yeah.
you had that bulge of the inside of the boot,
Yeah.
like holding you from getting that angle. Yeah, I suffer from that all the time.
I really admire the vintage style, like stand-up style. Like I would love to be able to be, for it to be natural and second nature.
Yep.
Like I mean, some of the people we skate with, like.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
just make it look so easy and stuff, and I admire that for sure. Like
Yeah.
but
and you and I,
like
we
it's
didn't
easy.
grow up that way.
No,
So,
and so it's easy to like think that in your mind. Okay, like what I'm going to
Yeah.
do positionally and how I'm going to open up my leg and try to skate save and stuff like that. But
then you're
in
just
your
going
mind,
something else
you
happens.
revert
Yeah.
to kind of like what you've been doing the whole time. And I know in some of the, I'm not sure what video or what plays in videos you're going to show, but I'm sure it'll show me playing a little bit more modern in vintage pads. First puck came at me, I was just like swatting at it like it was a fly instead of just like letting the puck come to me and just being able to like trap it like I usually I would normally do.
Yeah. Well, he paired these up. Beautiful Vaughn gloves.
Yeah, so we went with the T2000.
It's an awesome.
It's
glove.
a good glove. Yeah, it's a nice glove. Like you can definitely feel the difference.
Oh yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
Obviously,
There's
and it's
a piece
a
of
lot
plastic
bigger.
there.
Yeah, but I was never worried about
Yeah,
any stingers or anything like that.
and
So.
I do like
Yeah,
all
you
the
know.
Vaughns from like the 900 up into the 2000 series. I have several of them, and I really like them.
Well, with this Von blocker, which isn't like the exact match, but when I acquired these, I was kind of thinking I might go with like a Ron Tugnut, like Pittsburgh, Ottawa kind of theme. So, but it's all I had, black and white, and they do kind of match.
Yeah,
so.
it looks good. You get the weave on these ones, and it stands out a little bit, but not on our video because the cameras were behind us.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But
it still makes for a good-looking kit, and then you tie it together with you've got the Dallas pant.
yeah, I have a little bit of a system with a pant where I can change the side stripes and stuff like that. And back in the day, I had purchased a pair of old Dallas Stars player pants, and so on this system, it's just a Velcro hook and pull system, and I never have to worry about them coming off or anything like that.
That's
And it
amazing.
goes pretty sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like a lot of the stuff that we talked about is when I had pads, I like to have kind of the same feel for a lot of them. So that's like with the pants, I didn't want to be like jumping from pant to pant, like a new
Yeah,
pant.
you end up like me with 60 pairs of pants in the basement instead of.
So this pair of pants, I mean, I can throw different stripes on and stuff if I really wanted to match. But and then I went with I have a kind of a real Frankenstein kind of brown vest protector too. I really like it. As much as I try new ones and stuff, I always go back to it. It's lasted for years and years and years, and I never feel anything. And
So
it is quite streamlined.
What makes it a Frankenstein? Did you swap out arms or something, or?
Yes, like this is more like a Vaughn style arm.
Okay.
And when I got it, I mean, just like rounds traditionally are really beefy. And
you have to take pieces off.
And with like all the vintage stuff like that and the Drusen's and stuff, I didn't want to look like Garth Snow in my sets. I kind of just wanted them to be a little bit more streamlined.
Yep.
Kind of looked a little bit smaller. I wasn't worried about more so being big and blocking versus.
I mean, it is that's a mid '90s style for sure. Like
it's like a vintage
a
style.
little bit beefier than my Reactor 5, which is 1995, because your wraparounds come a little farther, and but pretty much the same style. So it works out great. This was a blast of a trip. I've been out here in Canada now for 4 or 5 days, I think. I don't know. This is what I live for, because you're new to the passion of the old gear.
Yeah.
And like I'm hoping that some kid out on the ice yesterday is like, man, Dad,
Someday.
can you buy me some old Cooper gloves or something? Like, can we play on the pond with wood sticks? And I don't know, maybe it'll happen. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. I've been dropping in some clips. There's going to be one more video that I'm going to do, which is like the full game edit, because we took the 2 GoPros. We had one on each end. We did switch sides, but I'm going to edit that down into the action. If you were on the ice with us, thank you. I had a blast. It was more than just me having fun playing hockey yesterday. It was a test of myself yesterday. Just things haven't been going well, and haven't been able to be on the ice, and
We'll have to show
I'm a little choked
Wolfpack.
up.
We'll have to show up to the Wolfpack.
yeah, Wolfpack.
The Wolfpack.
What is it like? Oh.
Yeah, they do that.
Okay,
yeah.
there you go.
Well,
Wolfpack. Woo!
that was the spring team. So shout out to the Wolfpack.
Yeah, and
Thanks
all the
for-
parents
thanks
and
for
dads
coming
that
out,
came out, thank you so much. And whoever it was that hit me here, I'll be back. I'll wear beefier gear. Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, anytime. It was awesome.
All right. Good hustle, man.